you make one of the largest SUVs out there better? Well, you make it even bigger. Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to Lexus RX 450h L. 11 centimeters later and we are 5 meters long. This car is waking up some competition. Volvo XC90, Audi Q7, Mercedes-Benz GLS. The silhouette is very elegant, very sophisticated, but we also have got that aggressive grille. This car really stands out. It just looks good. Well, of course, it's a Lexus, but how does it feel to drive? Is it more distinguished as the Germans? Well, we're gonna hit the road and find out. RX L has only one engine type available, and that is the hybrid 450h. Now, on the paper, 0 to 100 is 7.7 seconds. In reality, however, it feels a lot more dynamic. When you put your foot down here, this car has actually no problem taking off. Now, maximum speed is 200 kilometers an hour, which is 124 miles per hour. Right from the start, I'll tell you about fuel economy, which is very good. A mixture of motorway, a bit of a city, and some small mountain roads. All I'm using is 7.7 liters, which is about 31 miles to the gallon. Not bad, considering we've got 313 horsepower, a torque of 335 newton meters. This is a massive 5-meter long SUV, and of course under the bonnet we've got the glorious 3.5 liter V6 petrol engine. Now, this velvety V6 engine drives the front wheel with support of electric motor. We have another electric motor driving the rear wheels, giving us essentially an all-wheel drive. Nice and safe in the winter time. When you're driving on electric only, it is just so quiet, so relaxing. You just feel the air flowing over your mirrors. When you put your foot down actually, and the petrol engine kicks in, there's a bit of a drowning sound coming through, yes, but it's not bad at all. It's a little bit worse if you put it to sport, put your foot down, but it's still, you know, there's a lot of complaining there on the internet that it's too noisy, too rattly. It actually is not so bad at all. See, I'm driving in sport with my right heavy foot. Let's put it to Sport Plus. Yeah, it's a bit noisier, but it's also a bit more dynamic. I mean, you can't have it all in life, so they say. And how does it feel to be a passenger in this car? Well, as to be expected, there's plenty of space and comfort. You don't see this very often. Completely flat floor for the middle passenger, so you can actually sit like a lady. Unfortunately, the lady is a little bit too fat for this seat. I'd easily say that this car is 4 adults plus 3 children, because there's a third row of seats there, but it's only good enough for children or perhaps your little chihuahuas. Anyway, moving on. By the way, the seats here, the leather is just superb. It's lovely. You can adjust the distance of these seats, but also the angle, so you can recline and relax. Put your armrest down. You've got heated seats here, cup holders. Living the life. It's good enough for a peasant like me. This car drives differently to European rivals. It might not be everybody's cup of tea because it actually feels very American. The priority for the Japanese was comfort in mind, of course. And this has got to be one of the most comfortable cars out there. Honestly, the suspension absorbs everything. Even when you're going slow, it is just so smooth and seamless, as if you're driving on a big, fluffy, luxurious, pretty luxurious cushion. And now onto the cabin. It is just so lovely in here. It's got such a home feel about it, says the peasant. Anyway, the quality of the materials and the finishing is superb. Although I wouldn't expect anything less of Lexus. We've got this beautiful wood trim that's done by Yamaha's piano division. Very posh. Door pockets that actually extend. You can fit in large items such as this bottle of water and keep hydrated on the road. I haven't seen it before, but I find it extremely practical. Now, the electrical windows, the fastest and the quietest electrical windows, like a Ninja. Ninja, beautiful, that's all good. And then we come to this Shame on you, Lexus, putting this hard plastic around the steering wheel, as if the designer has started really well, then went to have a little nap, and then returned and finished the rest beautifully, including this leather glove box. Go figure. Now that we're on the subject of steering wheel, well, isn't it lovely? I've got this beautiful wood trim. It's additional $750, but I find it's worth every cent because it makes the car look and feel so expensive and so solid. Now onto infotainment system and operation of this system. Oh well, oh dear. Now the system itself, well, let me put it this way. I've seen better ones. Operation of the system, oh dear. It's challenging when you're stationary. So what happens when you're driving? Well, not much happens. But anyway, Lexus is working as we speak. You see, it's even having a fit with me now. But why would you want to operate the system anyway when you have seats like this? I mean, honestly, these are glorious. They have got to be one of the best seats I've ever sat in. They're soft, large and comfortable, and oh god, they smell so good. I wish you could smell it. So you see all this. Now let's talk money, honey. It's not our first date after all. The base price of this car is 99,000 American dollars in Switzerland. Now this car that I'm driving today is worth just under 104,000, so there's not much extras. The only extra here is the wood trim on the steering wheel and the panoramic sunroof. You're getting a lot for your money. It's pretty good, isn't it? Well, you tell me. You see, I mentioned European greed in particular, is that because here, what we want from a car is we want the sportiness, the performance, the sharpness of a sports coupe, but that's not enough, oh no. We also want the space, the practicality, the lushness and lavishness of an SUV. Pretty much a jack of all trades, and we know what jack of all trades can do. Well, not much. We then end up asking ourselves the question, well, who am I? Am I an SUV? Am I a coupe? Am I all of these things? There are very few cars out there. The Range Rover Sport SVR, but that's much more expensive. Porsche Macan or Maserati Levante. These are SUVs which feel sporty, but they're also much smaller. Now, Lexus builds cars with purpose, and this is what I really appreciate about the brand. There's an SUV, it's got a purpose, and then there's a sporty coupe. If you want a sporty coupe, you don't get yourself this car, you get yourself the RCF or the LC500, both wild animals and both probably one of the best sporty coupes out there. Now this car for an SUV, you know, it handles well, the body doesn't roll on those corners, the steering is sharp, it's fairly precise for an SUV. It is exactly what you want an SUV to be. So who is Lexus RX 450h L for? Well, it's perfect if you live in a dirty, smelly, congested city. If you drive on a motorway like a normal person, you know, without the crazy bonanza. If you take a twisty, narrow road from time to time, because you can, this car is more than capable of it. You know, it's a perfect example of Lexus manifesting the current trend. That is the environmental trend. Yes, sure, you can get yourself Volvo XC90 T8, which you can charge using a plug, but first of all, this car is going to cost you more money. Second of all, once it runs out of electrical juice, meaning the battery is flat, ooh, it's gonna hoover that petrol like a thirsty dragon. But most of all, well, you see, you're gonna still be driving a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine instead of this proper V6 engine that also acts rather nicely. And it is extremely comfortable. It's the Lexus way. You really are getting the Lexus ride. The finishing is superb. For 100k, you're getting one of the highest specs coming as standard that's available on the market. Don't you just hate when the base price of a car is 50k and then you end up paying 100 or 150,000 for it? I know it's good when the sky's the limit with options, but perhaps it's not so good when it is all coming out of your pocket. I know the CVT gearbox is not everybody's cup of tea, but you see, it's important to mention that this gearbox is so simple that it is essentially unbreakable. I mean, there's a reason why taxi drivers are choosing hybrid Toyotas, because these cars don't break, they are good. So what are my final thoughts on this car? Is it as distinguished as the Germans? I think it's a lot more distinguished than the Germans. This car knows who she is. There's no fakery, no pretense. It's a proper lush and luxurious SUV. Of course, I'm not going to say anything negative about Lexus. You know how I feel about Lexus. I've got such a soft spot for it if you've watched my videos. I've got no shame admitting it. Why should I? And this brings me to the end of this video. I'd like to thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. As always, I look forward to your comments and your questions. Just be nice, don't be nasty. I don't like it. A big thank you to Lexus Switzerland for lending me this beautiful machine, and Mike in particular. I wish you a wonderful day, whatever that you're doing, and I shall see you all very, very soon. Bye!